Hello and welcome to Localization Today, where we explore how language, technology, and community converge to unlock ideas for everyone, everywhere. I'm Eddie Arrieta, CEO at MultiLingual Media. Today's episode takes us into the realities of scaling audiovisual localization in an AI driven world beyond the hype into what actually works in production. We'll explore how subtitling, game localization, and dubbing are evolving, and what it really takes to integrate AI without losing editorial responsibility. Our guest is Taras Malkovych, founder of Tapas Localization. Taras built Tapas around complex multilingual workflows, starting with subtitling and expanding into game localization and human-led AI dubbing. His approach is grounded in real production environments where quality, voice, and trust matter. Rather than chasing full automation, Tapas is experimenting with how AI can support human teams at scale. Taras, welcome, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. Hi.
Of course. Really glad to have you and your experience with us. Those that are listening probably don't have any idea of like the type of projects that you are have participated on. So how about we start there? For those that might not know the experience and the work of an actual subtitler like yourself, how can you describe what you do to those that are listening, and if you can tell us some of those amazing projects you've worked on?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's true that I've started as an individual subtitler. I've started it in as long ago as 2010. I've been working with subtitles for quite a while, and my first subtitling experience as an individual subtitler quite far before building Tapas Localization was at some Ukrainian film festivals, some of the actually best ones, and I still remember that experience as something magical. It was now 15 years ago. Wow. Okay, that's quite a while. At the time I was exploring the ways to make subtitles uh, quite kind of very natural because there was this superstition, right, circulating about subtitles being a pale copy of whatever action is in the screen, and you had to kind of like liven them up or like sprinkle them with color or whatever, so that it doesn't just record a shortened version of whatever is happening, but it's kind of like adding to the movie. The problem was that Ukraine has always been a dubbing country, so subtitling, it's like I actually didn't have a base to start with, or like to learn from some uh, experts in that field in the past in Ukraine. So I had to kind of trailblaze that path, and yeah. So we started at the Ukrainian film festival called Molodist. There was this semi-documentary, right? Exit through the gift shop. I still remember that because at the time, so we not only did we have to translate the subtitles and do the spotting, do the timing, but also actually come into the screening and kind of click through the subtitles so manually. So like the audience would sit and watch the movie, and we would click every subtitle to be projected. So it was kind of a little bit weird, and yeah, and I still remember that because I decided to experiment. I decided to put all these kind of human, blips, bloopers, stoppers into the subtitles. So, subtitles are usually kind of like a cleaned out version of human speech, right? Or shortened as well. And what I did was like all these arms, all this like pauses and natural breath, especially in that movie because there was the main character was kind of struggling to speak English. because he wasn't in English. Yeah, so I kind of filled all this earth in the subtitles, and it was like Ukrainians have never kind of seen that. I think because dubbing is dubbing and subtitling is very kind of formalized there. And I do remember that I was clicking through that on the in the cinema, and the audience was taking it really, 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 really well. And so nowadays, to fast quite forward, we actually looking at those things in AI dubbing. So like we at Tapas Localization that I had right now, we are looking at these pauses and whatever makes human speech human, because no human, every human wants to sound perfect when they speak, right? And no human would like his speech to be filled with all this erms, with all this ahs, with too many pauses, because But actually, that is what makes human speech human, and that's where we can say that AI, as in dubbing, doesn't really work well right now. It doesn't really capture those peculiarities. So yeah, so I started with that, and then fast forward to 2017. Oh, between those years, I was subtitling on some festivals, some kind of individual errands. But then I remember per Knockler, the CEO of Plint, the founder of Plint, at the time he actually reached out to himself. That was, for me as a young subtitler, it was like wow, a wow moment. And yeah, so and he said, "Do you want to?" We were looking at for the linguists in Ukrainian, and yeah, so we joined. And I did participate in quite a bunch of interesting projects at the time. I remember we met first after I coasted. I bragged about Murder Mystery 2 that I subtitled that one. I actually subtitled Murder Mystery 1 as well, and now now it's out there. So I officially have confirmed the permission to mention it. Yeah. So because the problem is that the NDAs have always been eating at me as an individual subtitler, and I was like for 6 years, I think I was kind of silent as to what project I'm participating. And one thing is like to be silent, to the period, to the moment when the film is out. So like half a year maybe at max, but 6 years is a little bit, and you start like, okay, am I doing this? What for, and what has happened? What is going on, right? So yeah, but I really, I really am grateful to Plint for granting such high-profile projects for me, and no, even better, even better demonstration of the trust that they are placing in me was when I got to translate David Letterman's meeting with our president Volodymyr Zelensky. So quite a bunch of high profile stuff, which inspired me in my in its own way, inspired me to create tapas localization. That's of course I did sign off this clean version of our updated website right now. But in the very first version of the website, there was this thing where I told the story of the name Tapas. I actually, when I, first time I was abroad, I was very, you know, I didn't know a lot of facts about foreign cuisines, right? And I saw tapas, and because the English P is that looks exactly like a Ukrainian Cyrillic R. So Taras is like that my name is kind of like tapas. So I did use that in the naming, of course, but then I figured out that tapas can be like a cover, because the first tapas, as you most probably know, were used to like cover sherry glasses from the flies that were kind of trying to enter that glass. And so we at Tapas Localization, from the very first days of our production, we kind of are trying to protect the translation, the localization from all the mistakes, from all the mispronunciations, from all the cultural misalignments. Just like a tapas, a piece of bread or whatever would protect that cherry drink from flies
Really
who
good.
want to spoil it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really good, Taras. Thank you so much, and I like the play with the tapas. Everyone in Latin America would understand, and then some of us would think also of the tapas in Spain, where you eat the other thing that you put like food on top and whatnot. But yes, the tapas are protecting the companies from those. If we can just go back a little bit on time in time and then think about those projects. And it's very interesting when you mentioned, right, having multiple years where you cannot talk about the thing that you're an expert on. Is like, how am I supposed to get more
Yeah.
work if I cannot brag about the most important things that I'm doing? It's like it's almost it feels counterintuitive for the career, but I presume, of course, great projects uh, behind what you do, and that's why that was the case. Could you tell us a little bit about those NDAs and kind of like how that helps you get ready for other projects, or how much of that really helps you in that professional kind of like decision making that you have to do? I'm sure many are wondering and trying to navigate that as well.
Well, all my life from day one that I started actually working is filled with NTAs because my uh, prehistoric times, pre-subtitle times were publishing house. I was heading a foreign rights department of a popular Ukrainian publishing house, and NDAs were something pretty much daily there. Book rights until because Ukraine, especially at the time, was unfortunately infamous for intellectual property piracy. And a lot of foreign clients didn't really want to trust us with their content, their materials, which that also goes for books, that goes with movies, dubbing, subtitling, publishing, everywhere where intellectual property was involved. Ukrainians have had to really fight for to get hold of uh, as much of a material as possible to be able to work with it. So yeah, so NDAs started there. Then of course with the subtitling projects, where the NDA would I was always too cautious with NDA, so I was always doing everything by the book. I was always even though I would read, I would like understand that okay, this clause allows me to disclose something, but I still would like, oh, maybe I should wait, maybe I should not, maybe I should, okay, just to just to be on the safe side. So definitely something stopped me. Some definite clauses did stop me from oversharing or sharing about my work for like 6 years before there was a workflow where we could actually confirm the permission to mention the work that we've done in CVs. I don't know if we want to get more project or anywhere else. And then so the NDA thing organically passed to Tapas Localization, where now we also have to take care of the projects, take care of the intellectual property that we've been trusted with. So all of our project managers, all of our linguists, all of our, even designers sign a lot of NDAs because, so yeah, NDA is a central element of anything intellectual property related, especially when you're dealing with a country like Ukraine, like the country where I am from. So yeah.
That sounds really interesting, and of course, your evolution from a subtitler as a professional really informed the way in which Tapas operates. What can you tell us about how that transition happened, and how do you went from this individual subtitler to them building your company?
Yeah, so of course. Well, I really did enjoy working as an individual subtitler, but I uh, also enjoyed working in the publishing business as a communicator, basically. So I thought, why not combine all these two? If I can tell that skills that I have, translation and kind of communication, kind of liaison of between different production teams and clients and translators and the multilingual teams as well, because I understood, as a linguist and as a Ukrainian patriot, number one thing for me has always been Ukrainian language, my own language. But then then I thought that I think mentally it started from my Fulbright experience, because, of course, on the, Fulbright is a type of scholarship where you do meet with all nations of the world. And my year-long Fulbright experience was so multinational, so international, that I really dived into that context, and it didn't properly release me properly. So all this time I was carrying the idea how to expand, how I, as an individual subtitler, can expand in different languages, and to expand into those languages, you actually have to master those languages. And I do speak English, German, and whatever, but speaking is one thing, and working as an individual subtitler is another thing. So I did gather a team from my Fulbright colleagues, from linguists that have been Fulbrighters as well. And unfortunately, at the starting point of it all, it was kind of very slow, to the point where most of the team kind of like quietly moved on, because I was still doing the publishing stuff. I was still doing a lot of other stuff, and also individual subtitling. So the team quietly moved on. And for a little while, I was kind of left alone to build all this. But yeah, so we've started with 11 languages first, and we've started to be like to be subcontractors of bigger LSP companies, and all this kind of strategies to come into the big world of LSPs. But then yeah, so subtitling went really well for us. We've been doing quite a bunch of interesting and kind of crucial things. When the war started in our country, when the war started in our country in 2022, a couple of months after that, after the start of the intrusion, we've kind of collaborated with a Ukrainian newly created war-related media, where what we did was, they had like. They were producing short videos to fight Russian propaganda around the world. And, me as a Ukrainian, I was definitely interested in that. So we jumped all in. And they would give us a bunch of like 5 minute long kind of videos. And we would subtitle that into Chinese, into Arabic, into Hindi, a lot of languages that, were they could be used, where we felt that people really need to know more about Ukraine, to know more about what is happening. So we kind of started big with that. So all 11 languages that we were working at the time were actually uh, put to full throttle on that project. So we were really multilingual on that. Then we were working with a bunch of other clients where we expanded to 20 languages. And then, the AI started, the AI period started. And we did feel how the world of subtitling, the world of audiovisual translation on the client side is pretty perceptive of AI. So, we knew the pushback, especially the pushback of the translator, of the linguist community. But we did feel that audiovisual translation and clients, the content owners and intellectual property owners, they are kind of they are open to adopt AI workflows like live subtitling, AI, AI assisted translation and everything. And so, for quite a lot of reasons, subtitling has become too small, too kind of tense and niche for us to just go with subtitling. So we started looking for ways to expand our focus, expand our horizons. And last year in 2025, we decided to enter game localization world, and that's where we found that's where we found that uh, well uh, to my big surprise, when I was talking to bigger and smaller game studios, quite a bunch of them were saying, you know what, in our official localization policy, we have a no AI clause. So uh, when comparing with film people, when comparing with audiovisual translation, I did feel that gaming studios were uh, much more involved and much more appreciative of human translation work than the subtitling people, the audiovisual, the film studios. So games was something that returned us the belief of the importance of human subtitling, of human work, of human workflows and stuff like that. And so we are still pursuing that direction. And this well, last year as well, we've been quietly preparing the third pillar of Tapas localization that we are now focused on, is AI dubbing. That was a little bit unexpected for us at first, because that was 2024, November 2024. There was one of the conferences where I saw the results, where I saw the workings that AI dubbing solutions could offer at the time, and I was a little bit amazed. That was quite far beyond of what I was thinking. Uh, AI dubbing could become and could work with. And so when I left that conference, I released this statement where I called AI in dubbing and AI in in localization, and an astonishingly brilliant toddler. So it was uh, AI at the time was really, really, really doing great progress, but still, it had to it was behaving like a toddler, so it had to be led by hand by quite a bunch of adults. So that's why. Uh, I definitely decided that it's worth exploring the AI way, but we didn't want it to just be something that some people call push the button and pray, right? So like it's not like we wanted to go fully automated or something. So we started exploring how humans can interact with AI and how humans can evolve AI when and how deeply they can be involved in AI workflows, how deeply they can edit or redact the AI outputs. And that's where we met our the current partners, a company called VoiceSeed. Mm, they are they are really ethics driven. So their approach to ethical AI really aligns with our company values. And so we were really excited to push forward with partnership with them. And so right now our statement is that with VoiceSeed and with our team of specially trained AI dubbing editors for uh, we we've launched AI dubbing in 15 languages, right? And with our team of AI dubbing editors, we have really introduced some adults into that room with the toddler that AI can actually metaphorically be. And so yeah, so uh, we could actually be, I would not say one of the first, but maybe one of the first in the world who could have, pushed for or launched uh, the human-led AI workflow in dubbing. So not only just push the button, but AI dubbing as an AI would just generate the output. So we would use AI just for generating the dubbing, and then we would use the platform uh, with our partners for our AI speech editors to edit the AI outputs, and then QA and all this stuff. So that was basically very exciting because with our partners we've been working for a year to enhance that offer. We've been giving them feedback. We've been testing the production in real time production workflows. Uh, we've ran endless iterations of tests to actually see or to to notice where AI works, where AI doesn't work. So one of the moments where AI works is one of the moments where AI doesn't work is kind of as I said, the human kind of loopers where they stop, where they say ah, where they say oh, all these pauses and laughter and human kind of emotions beyond just words. Uh, AI at that point was not so great in grasping. It was not always grasping it well, not always given good output about that. So we've worked on that. We've given VoiceSeed quite a lot of feedback on that, and we've been working on the ways to eliminate that. And I cannot say how. I would not definitely, disclose the procedure, disclose the functionality. But I must tell you that right now we can reach the AI output uh, to the level of the kind of the very natural, quite less robotic, quite close to natural speech, where all the poses, all the arms, all the arms would be definitely covered in all the languages that we are working with. That is 15, and that would be expanded to 32 soon. Yeah, so basically. that's what our three pillars are.
And thank you for sharing that, especially when you made the comment of working with the companies that still believe that humans are somewhat needed. And this is a
Yeah.
very interesting time, because we interview a lot of companies, and for some companies feel a bit uneasy, some feel a bit nervous. Some feel like they don't know where to really tackle artificial intelligence. How did your team navigate integrating the conversation internally versus what you share with the clients, and what's actually like tangible and practical rather than like fluff, right? Which is the difficult thing to do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think where we started is terminology. Uh, so there is this, ubiquitous term that who everybody use right now is human in the loop, where it it is very just very vivid that the loop is not quite a place where humans in localizations want to end up after years and years and years of successful and great work and very hard work on their side. So uh and if you look at the abbreviation of human in the loop, I will actually dwell in on that with uh, some officials of localization industry, and they agreed to my approach. So when we look at the abbreviation of that term HITL, HITL, it's not something that we really want to use in localization, because localization is where people are, sensitive to language and sensitive to all the details that language can introduce. So uh, we kind of told internally and also externally, and communicated that externally, that we in our AI dubbing workflow, we do not want people to be in the loop. We will we would we would create AI dubbing workflows where it will be human led. So human led because uh, we do use AI just to generate the output, and then our editors actually uh, then our editors come in, then our editors redact that. So AI is just AI is just a kind of like a one one step of a ladder, right? That allows us to see a little bit behind that wall. But what elevates us up that ladder is actually people. So people are still somewhat needed, not only in audiovisual translation, not only in gaming, but also in AI dubbing, because AI is just a tool. AI is not something is not a decision maker in our workflow.
Charles, one of the other questions that I had, of course, is related to in these transitions, and as you're bringing in new pillars through Tapas, you have the reactions from the clients. So, how have the clients been receiving your pillars? How have you been receiving their feedback, and how is that interaction with your current projects?
You see, the fear is there, of course. The fear and the worry is there from the client side as well. Sorry. One of the fears or worries of the clients is the number of back and forth, because they keep comparing AI dubbing with traditional dubbing workflows, and of course, traditional dubbing workflows are full of those back and forth on multiple levels, from you know. Uh, finding or uh, establishing a recording studio, and all this post production and pre production, and finding good dubbing actors and whatnot. So the amount of back and forth is what is not scaring the clients away, of course, but they usually we've been receiving a lot of questions like, your AI dubbing, how is it going to be? How much of a how much of a burden it would be on our team, like on our project managers, on our whatever, from from your side. How can you guarantee, or can you tell us that you will, you know, you will take care of the content, you will dub it, and you will QC it, you will return it to us, and just once we would say, okay, it's great, or we would just want to return something to rework, and so the back and forth is definitely number one. That kind of is stopping, is making the clients to pause it and say, okay, let's observe, let's pilot, and let's see, how it works in real production. So of course, you might think that number one would be the AI itself, but probably not, right? So of course, because this is a new workflow, and I mean new-ish, right? New-ish workflow, and not everyone, especially on the client side, especially content owners, who do not always know or want to know end-to-end localization process, because this is not their, this is something that they outsource their intellectual property to us, and they want to make sure that we take care of the content so much, and they make sure that they want to make sure that they would trust their content to us so much that the back and forth, the number of questions in the process from their side will be minimal. And yeah, so of course we have just launched AI dubbing, so we are on the stage of pilots and testing with the clients, with the actual intellectual property of the clients. So not internal anymore, but still not full throttle. So we're just testing the waters. But so far, the feedback has been great. We have demos in quite a bunch of languages, and we show the demos, and the clients remain happy, remain satisfied with the quality of the demos, and uh, they start trusting us with their content, because, as I said, we've been working towards making our AI output as natural as possible, with the help of working with this human natural poses and emotions and whatever articulation. Like, for example, uh, there is this trend of changing the video, and the lip movements in every language. We do not do that right now, and not because we cannot. It's just maybe I need to fight with that in my mind a little bit, but that's just personal, because I believe that it's kind of a little bit comical still. Maybe it's a matter of time. Maybe it's a matter of latency. Maybe it's a matter of you know not really smooth ways of being able to project that with the current technology. But I do feel like, okay, when we are dubbing a comedic uh, type of content, that's okay. When we are dubbing something serious, something, I don't know, conflict related, or something very sensitive, or in healthcare, in healthcare industry, I do think that this lip movements might create an unwanted comical effect. This is, I don't know, this is experimental, because a lot of people and a lot of companies, a lot of industries already work with that, and they kind of love the result. But whenever I see that, maybe I will rethink it in quite a while. But right now, I'm like, okay, we're not doing this. The lip sync that we are doing is the translation, the human translation, of course. the lip sync ready translation with the lip movements in mind, and retiming. So that's it. We are not redacting the video because of the actors as well. I don't believe that all the actors. I don't believe that not on the we're not talking about Hollywood actors because we're still not, of course, AI dubbing big blockbusters or whatever features even. But I do not believe that any kind of people who project themselves in those videos would be entirely happy with the reduction of lips. That's just beyond my understanding, that trend.
And we will see with this whole shift left where we're dubbing and subtitling things that we didn't used to dub or subtitle to see what happens. I know a friend who is a chef who is always watching South Korean soap operas with the worst dubbing I've ever heard. It's a very like monotonous, and it sounds just like robots are talking. But he says like, "Hey, that's enough for me. I don't need like he just cares about the plot, I guess. So it depends on the users."
Yeah, actually, what you've just said, it reminded me of very kind of the very worry that I've been struggling with in terms of AI dubbing and in terms of rule of AI per se is good enough thing. So I would believe that this concept of beauty in the eye of the beholder is that AI and different automated solutions, like fully automated solution. I'm not talking about human-led, editing. I do believe that fully automated solutions would gradually lower the kind of the expectation threshold of an audience, of content owners as well, of spectators, because and of gaming players, because content, either dubbed or even created across the industries, I do believe that with the AI, with the easy and quick ways to do stuff, with time, people would just say, "Okay, this is good enough. This has been dubbed good enough, well enough. This has been subtitled well enough, and this game has been created well enough. And oh my god, this book has been written well enough by AI, right?" So all this good enough stuff. Uh, we still care about quality, and uh, the real threat of AI might be not, of course, the real threat of AI is seen by a lot of people as elimination of jobs and people, doing nothing and stuck without their skills to apply. But the lowering of the threshold of the lowering of the threshold of quality is the real threat that we might face. There are great game creators, there are great writers, there are great movie creators, people. And so, if in 5 years, an audience of some country, I don't know, of some, even selected audience would say, okay, you don't need to, like, don't sweat it, right? We are okay with whatever, like, AI created or whatever. So your talent is not needed anymore because, hey, this is good enough, right? That is the threat that I don't want to happen.
Yeah, because that would be the good enough that's terrible for everyone, and it is one
Absolutely terrible enough.
terrible enough. We were talking about it from the perspective of having specific languages dominate the world, and across the whole localization and globalization industry, what's a reality is that English is the language that dominates the structuring and professionalism of our industry. So it's very interesting to start considering what are the other languages that are coming on board as AI allows us to do. and how multilingual and multicultural are the companies that are actually leading those transformations.
Oh yeah, yeah. With all the languages, so as I told you, we've launched our first 15 languages for AI dubbing, but unfortunately, there is right now we don't have my native language Ukrainian among them. And what we are working towards with VoiceAid, with our partners, is we've actually agreed that the rolling out of Ukrainian would be. So I kind of paved my way into, you know, becoming the principal kind of output QCer of the Ukrainian language that we will be rolling out. So I would be the I would be controlling. I would be assessing the the AI language model learning and the output, the quality of the output in Ukrainian. So I would definitely make sure that Ukrainian is that Ukrainian AI dubbing that we can provide would definitely be as natural as possible. And of course, how multilingual? Yeah. So uh, the good thing in our model is that all the voices that we have, all the generated voices that we can use, are kind of trained on the are kind of trained on the data that is kind of similar, that is kind of so that every voice and every voice can be as efficient in every language as in every other language. So the voices that we use are truly multilingual, and there is no instances where this voice of this language is underperforming. Although, of course, as we all know, in LLMs, English is overarching language, and uh, even from whatever ChatGPT is responding, we can always guess that ChatGPT talking Ukrainian has a surprisingly English grammar structure, surprisingly English choreography of language, right? So yeah, we definitely have to uh push we definitely have to champion that training to be able to feed AI feed the AI models with as much high quality data as possible to be able to come up with the results that were Ukrainian, were I know Spanish, were Afrikaans would sound grammatically and structurally as as people in that territories would speak, not not the English construction like the Danglish or Spanglish or whatever we wouldn't want our AI dubbing to, parasite on. Yeah. So that's basically the multilingualism of it all is definitely crucial to us, and we will be working toward refining every language structurally.
Taras, thank you so much for sharing that perspective. And of course, coming from you, one thing that I like us to cover before we go and we're coming to an end of our conversation, but is the future of work. Of course, you've been a subtitler, and others out there have been doing translation, interpretation, subtitling, and then they see AI and they say, okay, this is it. And then along the way, you start finding practical ways to use your expertise and to bring in your value. Taras, what have you seen as the new route for the future of work for those that are loving languages, those that are linguists, those that care about words?
You see, I do believe that because as I wrote a while ago, is that as a managing director of Tapas Localization, I never sign off anything or any new workflow or any new solution without deeply diving into them myself. So I definitely studied the work and the workflows and the peculiarities of all the ins and outs of the process that AI speech editors, AI dubbing editors, or AI dubbing directors uh, would face with. And I would say that, of course, it's not the same as just translation, and not the same as working with sort of translation memory systems, not the same as working with CAT tools, of course. But there is a lot of language learning and language enhancement within the AI dubbing workflow. So for whoever loves languages as much as I do, and for whoever wants to work with languages as much as I do, there is plenty of things to discover. Because of course, when we see initial AI dubbing output, it might be bad. It may be bad, and it will be bad in some situations. So the editors would come in and say, "Aha, okay, there is plenty of material to work on with here." Because the intonation, the phonemization, all the platform, the platforms, the tech, the AI tech now allows kind of diving deeply into AI output for humans. So definitely there will be linguists, and I can definitely understand uh, everyone's stance on it, where people say, okay, AI output is just simply something that I don't want to work on because it's not been produced by humans in the first place, right? But since that workflow, since that result, since AI is here to stay. And I wanna circle back a little bit, because recently we have had a lot of wonderful conversations with Japanese studios, Japanese film studios, Japanese game
Mhm.
studios, in terms of our outreach and everything. And one interesting hot take that I took as something and someone who is crazy about languages is they do have the word I, AI, that means love. So that is a very controversial thing to, impose upon the linguists, or impose upon those who still push back the AI. Me not being the advertiser of AI, me not being the 100% fan of AI, but if we look at that, if we perceive AI as kind of thing that can be loved in a way that it allows us to work with it. It's like wood for a carpenter, or for it's like materials for sculpture, for a sculptor. They don't talk. But they are malleable. So we want AI to be malleable. We want to work with AI. We want to be able to structure AI, to dive very deeply into AI output, and redact it, and change emotion, and edit it, and change the pace, and change the phonemization, add the pauses, add the erms, at the everything that not non-native speakers are full of, and make the output after our involvement as natural as possible, or as less robotic, okay, as possible. So malleability of AI would probably be something that I, as a linguist and as a researcher, would be rooting for. And that also involves tech companies who are working with AI, and who want people like linguists to be willing, not opposed to working with AI. So if they see the malleability, if they see the amount of work that has to be done with AI, and this is language work, this is okay. This is not translation per se, but it's a lot of language work. And I do believe that a lot of people can find, if they don't shun of AI as a term, if they see AI as a Japanese term love, I do believe that they can be quite engaged with that.
One of the things that I believe it's going to become a competitive advantage for companies that are going around the world is those that understand that the need for that malleability, that ability to really get into the different locales with grace, you could say, and with a lot of, and that requires a very high technical ability or either human ability, right? And they would say that
Yeah, yeah,
uh,
yeah.
for it to be really advanced, it would be indistinguishable from magic. It seems like we are a few years away from that. Taras, this is of course an amazing conversation. I hope we can have it in person at some point. Uh, before we go, are there any messages that you think we should not go without sharing today with our audience?
Yeah, I so what I just say is allow the language. Don't allow good enough be your new standard, and love exploring whatever the technology and whatever the advancements are semi imposing of people. I of course wish less aggression in this technological advancement, less imposition of that advancement on people, especially on people who are not yet ready to grasp it. But as I said, if a person is open to grasping it, I think there is endless possibilities. And please don't just shun away from whatever technology or whatever new workflows are emergent, because new workflows have always been there, like far beyond localization. New workflows has been in, I don't know, in student clauses and in whatever. That's just how humans are. They don't want to be stuck in the same workflow forever. They are they are emergent. And yeah, so just love the language as you loved it. Don't take good enough for an answer, and please be ready to explore whatever comes your way.
Thank you very much, Taras. And of course, for those that are listening, we're talking to Taras Malkovych. And Taras is the founder of Tapas Localization. Taras, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Eddie. Great pleasure.
All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening to Localization today. A big thank you again to Taras Malkovich for grounding the conversation about AI and the realities of production and what actually happens when you're putting technologies to solve big issues. And of course, he put that conversation where it needed to be. Catch new episodes of Localization today on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Subscribe, rate, and share so others can find these conversations. I'm Eddie Arrieta with Multilingual Media. Thanks for joining, and see you next time. Goodbye.